Hi, this is Nicholas from Solo Music Academy with another song breakdown. Today I'm looking at Little Simz's Gorilla and looking at what makes the music and the production of this tune so awesome. The first time I heard this song and then also saw the video, which was mind-blowing, and then of course Little Simz's like amazing rapping. I feel like this person, they've just been going from strength to strength to strength from every album and song that I've listened to. And anyway, so this song just like punched me in the face. It was so good, and I wanted to have a bit of a closer look to what makes it so awesome. So first thing what I did was I had a closer look at that epic kind of huge orchestral triumphant whatchamacallit, brass intro. Right? And so in this part here, like there's just like these big octaves and like fifths, you know, so it's not like harmonically complex, but it just sounds so huge because there's like layers. There's the brass, and then there's the timpani, kind of also like they're doing the doubling up on the brass. So everything's kind of doubled, which makes this sound so huge. Chordally, it could be a few different things, but because there's just a lot of repeated notes, it's a little ambiguous. But my feeling, my gut tells me that it's more like a C pedal. So there's all this like suspension, right? There's all this kind of this like leaving me waiting. It's a little ambiguous. You could argue that it's like a B flat sus to B flat in that last one. Over here, you know, maybe like an F over C. B flat to B flat sus. Maybe. But not a lot going on there. And also, I think if there was more notes to these chords, I don't think it would punch as hard. I think this was a good, smart choice. Then what I find really cool about this tune is the huge contrast that happens from this orchestral epic intro that moves into this like slinky, cheeky, upright bass line. And so I'll grab my bass. So when I quickly transcribed this, what instantly struck me was the use of tenths in the bass line. So tenths, for those who aren't familiar, it's just another way to think of thirds, but just over an octave apart, right? Right, and we have this like ascending, boom, do, boom, boom. So I love this bass line purely because it is like the main carrier in the verse, besides obviously Little Simz's vocals. And because there's just bass and drums in her vocals, it's given this bass player some license to throw in a little bit more harmonic information, as they're the bedrock, they're the foundation for everything. Whereas if maybe there was other instruments and, you know, guitars or pianos and stuff, maybe as a bass player that might be a little bit too much to do. But because this is so stark, I think that allows for the bass to kind of take up more space, which is really, really cool. You know, yeah. So I really, really enjoyed that, and it's kind of like this weird juxtaposition between this orchestral epic intro, and then everything shrinks into the verse part. And also the way that they've produced it, and the upright bass, and the way how dry and dead the drums sound. To me, it feels like we've gone from this huge epic space into your living room. You know, so it's kind of these big to small, which I think is really awesome. Then later on in the tune, there is some more strings that come in. Shit,
cause to make you feel good about yourself before I start swinging, that man's gonna need a warning. This back here just got realer.
So later on, there's some more strings that come in that mirror the bass, and they go like do boo ba just to kind of like double up the bass, but without actually giving a lot more harmonic information. It's just doubling up on that main theme. Then,
no choice now but to fill us. I know the streets will love it like I brought my skin up. So simmer down, little homie, simmer. All that talk get you rubbed out quick, cause I'm that cold.
Okay, so after all of this, I'll put this away for a second. So after all of that, then we come in with this kind of gospel-esque choir, which I really enjoyed. And at first, the way that they produced with all the voices so tight, I had a little bit of a hard time picking out all the voices and the voicing and how they stack the notes. But, you know, eventually it kind of sounded like they were like doubling up the, you know. So we have this like F major chord, right, to a C chord, and then what did we went? We went to B flat sus to B flat again. So it's somewhat mirroring the intro brass section, just with voices, and just repeats it. It's just really, really epic, and I love the way that the voice leading. If you hear the top part, the main melody, it's just going down chromatically. But then the way that they've harmonized it, then we change key. So awesome. So I think that's what this is a really great example of, is picking a simple theme and exploring that not only through like kind of musical ideas but textures. You know, what happens when you take that same theme and you give it to one instrument and then you give it to another, and when we have people doubling up on each other. So I find like it's a really cool simple way to make a very short, simple, and potentially very repetitive idea interesting for a song as long as this. This is a 4.5-ish minute song, right? And so to keep my interest musically, with just one or two themes, they've done a great job by playing with texture. That, of course, I mean, of Little Simz is just absolutely ripping it all over the top of this track. So again, like her words and lyrical mastery is the thing that really carries the tune. But I just love the music underneath and how it just really, I don't know, it just really, really like knocked me off my feet. So to surmise, key lessons from this tune: simplicity is great, and especially if you take simple ideas and give it slightly different textures or slightly different contexts, that can really take a simple idea and allow it to be explored. Another one is contrast, right? And I think the contrast in the context of this tune works really, really well, because there are these moments where we allude and we hint and we double up on these old themes. So, whereas if it was like a complete departure with nothing to do with the intro or whatever, maybe that contrast wouldn't work. But in this case, they're always alluding to those main themes. Awesome tune. Look forward to the next one. See you later.